Well, good morning and welcome to Coffee with the Pastor. So glad you've joined me this morning. We're in Mark chapter 9. If you remember from yesterday, Jesus, first part of chapter 9, Jesus has taken Peter, James, and John up on the mount, probably Mount Hermon, and he's transfigured before them. In other words, one of the other Gospels has him praying. While he's praying, he has this glow about him. It's the Shekinah glory that we see in the Old Testament. He starts to glow, and then Moses and Elijah appear. And Peter, James, and John know who they are. It's widely thought that Jesus is about to start heading towards the cross, that maybe he had a visit with Moses and Elijah about that. You think about Moses representing the law, Elijah representing the prophets. All the law and the prophets is pointed towards the Messiah. And so he talks with him about what's about to happen. And then they go down the mountain. And of course, Peter's being rebuked because he wanted to build a tabernacle to honor all three. A cloud with God's voice in it came down and said, "This is my son, honor him." And they go down. And they're going to get with the rest of the disciples, going to get into regular reality. And in verse 14 it says, "And when they came to the other disciples, they saw a large crowd around them and the teachers of the law arguing with them. As soon as all the people saw Jesus, they were overwhelmed with wonder and ran to greet him." "What are you arguing with him about?" he asked. A man in the crowd answered, "Teacher, I brought you my son who is possessed by a spirit that has robbed him of speech. Whenever it seizes him, it throws him to the ground. He foams at the mouth, gnashes his teeth, and becomes rigid. Ask your disciples to drive out the spirit, but they could not." "O unbelieving generation," Jesus replied, "how long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy to me." So they brought him, and when the spirit saw Jesus, it immediately threw the boy into a convulsion. He fell to the ground and rolled around, and foaming at the mouth. Jesus asked the boy's father, "How long has he been like this?" "From childhood," he answered. "It has often thrown him into fire or water to kill him. But if you could do anything, take pity on us and help us." "If you can," said Jesus. "Everything is possible for him who believes." Immediately the boy's father explained, "I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief." When Jesus saw that a crowd was running to the scene, he rebuked the evil spirit. "You deaf and mute spirit," he said, "I command you, come out of him and never enter him again." The spirit shrieked, convulsed him violently, and came out. The boy looked so much like a corpse that many said, "He's dead." But Jesus took him by the hand, lifted him to his feet, and he stood up. After Jesus had gone indoors, his disciples asked him privately, "Why couldn't we drive it out?" He replied, "This kind can come out only by prayer, and others add by prayer and fasting." I love this story. Jesus comes down from the Mount of Transfiguration with all the great spiritual high into real life. And I like Jesus because he liked to live in real life. I mean, he could have lived up on mountaintops, just convening with God, having angels feed him, whatever. But he chose to live down in real life with real people, with real problems. And he came down, and the first thing he found out is that the disciples couldn't drive out this evil spirit. And he chides them again. He calls them, this time he doesn't call them little face, he just says, "Oh, you unbelieving generation." He just says, "You just don't believe. You don't believe." And I think he's thinking, what's it going to take? You've seen 5,000 people fed, 4,000 people fed, you've seen me walk on the water, you've seen all these miracles, yet you guys don't have enough faith to do it. So Jesus had the child brought to him, and when the child with the evil spirit saw Jesus, he began going in convulsions again. And Jesus asked the father, "How long has he been like this?" And he said, "Since childhood." He said, "If you do anything, have pity on me." And Jesus said, "If I can," and he basically says, "Don't you believe?" And the father has, I think, one of the great prayers, great statements all the time. He says, "Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief." I think that's a prayer we have to pray a lot of times, is that, okay, we don't believe God can do it, but do we really? And so I think we have to pray, "Lord, I'm believing with about half heart, but help my other half, and help me believe with the other half. And so Jesus heals the boy, and he gets alone with the disciples, and they begin asking him, why couldn't we do it? And he just told them, he said, this kind of demon only comes out after much prayer. You know, some of the other gospels, much prayer and fasting. If you're going to have spiritual power, you're going to have to pray. And Jesus knew that. That's why he took off to the hills to pray a lot. He prayed alone. He took Peter, James, and John to pray with him a lot. He had these great times where he got, where in times of prayer, he got to where he could trust God. But we need to spend that time as well. Well, we've kind of come to a breaking place in the Gospel of Mark. I've been telling you this, and now we're there. Mark gets to the passion narrative as quickly as he can. And he, more than any other gospel, talks about the final week of Jesus' life here before the cross. And he leads up to it. He gives great details on what happened each day. And I'm looking forward to it. Now, I've used the book of Mark the last 2 Passion Weeks. I've went over that as an outline. But we'll spend more time with it. However, I'm going to take a break for the next few days, well, till after Memorial Day. So it'll be the Tuesday after Memorial Day before we start again. I'm going to be off the rest of this week, all next week, and then that Monday after Memorial Day. My son and his family are coming. My granddaughters are coming, and they're going to spend some time with us, probably 8 to 10 days with us. And with COVID, we've not got to see them very much, and so I'm going to take some. I'm going to preach on Sundays, but I'm going to take some time off during the week. We're going to have kind of a special time here at our house, kind of have grandparent camp here with the granddaughters. We're going to get some time alone. My son and his wife are going to go get some time alone, and we're going to have the grandchildren. So I'm going to not do these. I think it's going to be hard to find a time with 3 children in the house, find a quiet place to do these, and then the preparation time. So I think I'm going to wait until after Memorial Day. So I won't be on here till after Memorial Day. But then we're going to look at the most important passages, I believe, in the Bible, where we're going to look at Jesus beginning to prepare his disciples for him going on the cross. We're going to look at the trip from Galilee to Jerusalem. And he starts early on that and make sure he gets there before Passover. And he's going to get there. And then all the events that happened the week leading up to his death on the cross and his resurrection. And so I'm excited about teaching those passages. They're the most important passages in the Bible. So I hope you'll come back and join me beginning the Tuesday after Memorial Day. But thank you for hanging in there with me. And like I say, I'll miss doing this. I enjoy having this time in the morning as well. But blessings upon you, and I'll see you Sunday, and then I'll see you on Coffee with the Pastor beginning the Tuesday after Memorial Day. Blessings upon you. Bye now.